whatever.
You're streaming live.
Oh, are we recording?
Yes, it will be recording.
Can you guys hear this background music at all? Is it okay?
Really, I can't.
It's very subtle.
I can hear it. Yeah.
It's very subtle. Subtle is okay.
Yeah, subtle is good.
Just stay on mute.
Deborah, thank you again for making the time and joining us today. So happy to have
I
you.
am very happy to do so. Not an issue whatsoever.
Four people are in the waiting room.
5 and counting.
So who's admitting everybody? Jane?
Hello.
Hey, Jane, are you or Mike admitting people?
I'm not admitting anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, some people are slipping in because there's a the link is out. So I think we should let people in now because it is 1 minute too, and rather than pushing them into a waiting room. So we're allowed to do that. Debbie,
Sure.
since you're starting, encourage everyone to turn their cameras on if they possibly can.
Sure.
What happened to the music?
Can't you hear it?
No, we can't. Oh, there we go. A little bit.
Five o'clock.
Oh, Linda. Hi, Linda. Donald.
I mean, hello.
People joining, if you can turn on your videos, we'd love to see you if possible.
Hi, Linda.
Okay, well, as people pour in, give them a minute to arrive and get situated. Then I'll bring up that first slide and we can start our program. Debbie, is that okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Fantastic.
Donald.
Linda. Mike, you can upload the grilled shrimp whenever you're ready.
Stand by. The app is loading. We were thinking about sending out those, Odorama cards.
Oh.
We're eating shrimp. Maybe next year.
Scratch and sniff.
That's it. So, Debbie, if you want to get going.
Sure. 5:01. Should we give another minute? Because we had a lot more registrants than people joined.
Michael Coleman, hey there.
Hi, Michael.
Okay. Looks like a lot of people joining right now. And yeah, if you could turn on your video, we'd love to see you. You don't have to.
But
And
keep
then
your
generally
mic off.
keep stuff on mute for the most part, right?
Yes, mute, camera on, like my kids' school.
Oops.
Okay. Should we get started? Okay, well, I'll just jump right in. We have about 40 participants at the moment, 40, 41, 42.
Keep coming, keep coming.
Yeah. Well, so far, I want to welcome everybody to our 2020 Member Appreciation Party. Last year, as you can see from this picture, we were all sitting on a roof deck looking forward to a new year full of great events and friendships and networks, but now we're all toasting a screen in our bedrooms. So that's how 2020's gone, obviously, but we made the best of it and we're able to have a great year anyway. Next slide. I'd like to thank our sponsors for supporting the AIA and what we do. And of course, I also want to thank our members. You're what makes all of this possible and why we're all here today. Next slide. So coming up ahead on the program today, we have some special guests, including this year's Pritzker Prize winners, Grafton Architects, which is really special, and we're very grateful for that. Libby Schaff is also here to give us, to talk with us. We have our new president that you'll meet tonight, some awards, breakout rooms, a raffle, and please stay till the end for the raffle and the closing remarks. Next slide. I'd like to introduce our board. We all have these white AIA East Bay backgrounds, so you can identify us. We have Ursula Curry, Ben Levy, Ali Rafiatari, Rudabeh Pakravan, Leopold Ray Lynch, Lauren Jordan, Tim Nystrom, and Adeline Lung, who is our new student member, which is great. And then our executive committee is Mark Steppen, which is our former president and our current treasurer. Myself, Devi Dutta-Chaudhary, I'm the current board chair. Ashley Rybarczyk, she's our vice chair and incoming president. You'll hear from her later. And Brian Stryzek, our secretary. And with that, Deborah Giroud is here in person to speak. She's our AIA California president. We have a video from our national president, Jane Frederick, after that. And then one of our board members, Ursula Curry, will introduce Grafton Architects. Go ahead, Deborah.
Great. Well, thank you, Debbie. Really appreciate this opportunity to speak to you. I'm really honored to be afforded the opportunity to welcome everyone to this year's AIA East Bay Member Appreciation. So as Debbie said, my name is Deborah Giroud, FAIA, and I'm the 2020 president of AIA California. I want to give thanks to Winston Wynn AIA, your past president, who, or a past president, not immediate past president, but past president of AIA East Bay, who serves on the AIA California board with me, along with Antonia Bowman AIA and Ali Rafiatari, associate AIA. And really appreciate Winston inviting me here to say a few words to you. So this has certainly been an unexpected year for all of us. And yet when you think about the year that has been as an organization, with all of us being volunteer architects in the AIA, we actually accomplished a lot more than any of us would have predicted, given how suddenly we all had to shift from a fully, from a live experience to a fully virtual experience. At AIA California, not unlike what you've been doing at East Bay, all of our board meetings are now virtual. And so we changed from having 3 full-day in-person events to probably a half a dozen or more 2-hour sessions. And while I would not trade the ability to see each other safely and socially distanced, but in person, an unexpected outcome has really been that we spent a lot greater amount of time having really great, engaging, serious discussions on serious topics. And this is much more so than we were ever able to somehow accomplish when we had our in-person events. That's surprising. Personally, I've been very concerned about what was going to happen with the next generation of architects. Unexpected change was exemplified by what you guys did in your relationship with educational institutions, such as the architectural program at UC and Diablo Valley College, where you now have a mentorship program teed up to start in 2021. You've got a student sitting on your board, as was introduced earlier, in an official voting capacity, and you've got programming explicitly asked for and from students. Unexpected was the incredible response to your DDX hackathon, a program you put on to create a way for members to get help and education from other members and to facilitate and encourage involvement in the 2030 commitment, increasing reporting and awareness. And this wasn't just done with an eye for serving East Bay, but really with a primary goal of creating a model that all chapters could follow to increase signatories to the 2030 commitment and improve DDX reporting. And I can tell you, I had several members of my staff who participated from Los Angeles, highlighting that a barrier of physical location has really been eradicated in our virtual work, which is a beneficial side effect to the changes in our lives due to the pandemic. It was also unexpected how much progress AIA California would have made educating our members and the profession about the need and ability to decarbonize our built environment. We had a great deal of support from East Bay members such as Henry Siegel and Larry Strain. They have contributed greatly to our efforts to push for electrification and decarbonization, adoption of the Zero Code, and sharing their knowledge on embodied carbon, as well as being primary authors on a really exceptional white paper on the business case for climate action. And I should point out that this all started last year with Berkeley adopting the nation's first all-electric ordinance, with the latest city to pass an electrification ordinance being Oakland just this week, or last week. And unexpected was how quickly East Bay became a thriving component and overcame some of the challenges that you guys faced a couple of years ago. That showed tremendous leadership in the profession. You guys have made such great strides as a chapter in this past year. You brought on Mike Wilson mid last year to be your executive director, and what a great move that was. And great praise and appreciation go out to Mark Steppen for his leadership during the very difficult period when he served as president for an extended term without the staff support of an executive director. But now, with Mike's guidance and support, you all have proven to be one of the most resilient chapters that we have. And even the upheavals of the pandemic, unrelenting wildfires, economic uncertainty, all of these things feel like they're not capable of keeping AIA East Bay down. So I want to thank you for your resilience as a chapter. Please keep spreading your knowledge and ideas to the rest of us. And I wish you all a really wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thanks, Deborah.
And then we have a video from Jane Frederick, our national president.
Hello, AIA East Bay. Congratulations on a successful year. It seems like I was there 15 months ago, but it was only about a year and a half ago, but that was pre-COVID, so we know time has changed in the last year. Last December, when I was inaugurated, I quoted climate activist Rebecca Solnit. She said, "Don't ask what happens, be what happens." And the architects I know have stepped up this year to provide the leadership in being what happens. Whether it's providing resources for COVID, whether it's PPP or helping us get back into buildings safely, or fighting structural racism, architects have stepped up this year to be what happens. So thank you so much and keep up the good fight. Have a great new year.
That was our national president. And I want to bring Ursula Curry, one of our board members, up to introduce our the Grafton video.
Thanks a lot, Davy. Yeah, I'm really delighted to be able to present acknowledgement from Grafton Architects, who hail from Dublin, Ireland. In 2020, they were the recipients of the Pritzker Prize, as well as the prestigious RIBA Gold Medal Award for Architecture for their amazing portfolio. And some of you may have heard Yvonne speak at the Monterey Design Conference last year. And you know, she may be sort of modest in disposition, but their work is by no means modest. It's extremely bold and courageous and innovative and culturally really sensitive. So I am personally particularly very proud of these female Irish architects. So I was really delighted when Yvonne and Shelley accepted my invitation to address our membership. They you know, they've given us a really wonderful 15-minute discourse. And honestly, if we weren't 8 hours behind GMT, I know they would be here with us in person. So Mike, if you want to share what they have to say for us, and please enjoy. Thank you.
Hello. It is a great pleasure for Shelley and me to send you greetings from this side of the Atlantic Ocean to the AIA East Bay chapter in California. We are very conscious that these are difficult times, really difficult times. This new shelter-in-place time asks each of us to play a role. All of us in Grafton Architects here in Dublin have been working remotely since March. That's over 9 months. As humans, we're all connected to one another. And today we gather with you in the community of architects. We're sharing our thoughts and experiences that hopefully might be useful. Johanni Palasma has written, and I quote, "The significant mental task of architecture is to put us in palpable contact with the world, and thus heighten the reality and veracity of the world. Yet in our consumer culture, buildings are usually seen solely for their visual, aestheticized objects, and they are expected to give rise to a fantasy world instead of reinforcing our sense of the real." I'll speak in my section on 4 topics: imagination, the bench, the sketch, and finding the DNA. This first image is about imagination. Imagination is the basis of our skill as architects. We translate people's dreams into new realities. And how and why do we imagine? In 2013, the British Museum in London had a wonderful exhibition called Ice Age Art, Arrival of the Modern Mind. The drawings and sculpture created by artists during the last ice age, between 40,000 and 10,000 years ago, give us a fascinating insight into their minds and their capacity to communicate sophisticated ideas symbolically through art. As our prefrontal brain developed, so did our ability as early humans to symbolize thoughts, to develop abstraction, caricature, and metaphor. Investment in art was a measure of its social value, as it still is today. The Lion Man, which was made in Southwest Germany, is 12 inches tall. It's made from mammoth tusk by someone with knowledge and experience of working this difficult material, which is a hard compound of mineral calcium crystals held together by organic collagen. The imagined form of this half man, half lion was conceived to make the best use of the characteristics of this ivory tusk. In the Lion Man, we have the imagined, the preconceived form, the material fully understood, and craftsmanship to carry out this task. It took 400 hours to make it. Someone like you and me imagined and manufactured this artwork of symbolic importance. And this was someone who was supported by their community during 400 hours of work needed to make it. Architecture continues this same process of imagining and making something of civic importance. Imagining something before it exists is what makes us human. Imagining to the best of our abilities is our social and cultural responsibility as architects, as we participate in creating our contemporary culture. The writer and Nobel Prize laureate Samuel Beckett wrote, and I quote, "One of the hardest things in life is to find a free bench in the sun." End of quote. Ever since seeing the stone bench on the facade of the 15th century palace of Filippo Strozzi in Florence, we have discussed the democratic power of the bench. It comes from a fascination we have about how people socialize, how people react in a space, and how they move about. As architects, we measure, we record, we reuse dimensions, which people find comfortable. A bench is a continuous long seat which accompanies one person on their own, as well as encouraging groups of people to share and simply sit and chat. Participating in the Sensing Spaces exhibition in London in 2014, in two beautiful rooflit rooms in the Royal Academy of Arts in London, which we were given, we designed a 36-foot long bench to form part of the experience of architecture, so that people could spend time comfortably, unaware of the surface beneath them. For us, a chair is for the individual, a bench is for sharing, a bench is a backdrop to humanity. The sketch. For us, the sketch is the beginning of deep research. On one hand, it is the highly personal tool to record and observe reality, place, and on the other, it's the search for appropriate understanding of a given task, searching for scale, opportunity, creativity, and meaning. Here are some sketches from a study trip many years ago I made with students from University College Dublin. We were on our way to visit Ronchon, the chapel completed in 1954 by Le Corbusier. It was early morning, very foggy, and out of the mist, the outline of the pointed prow, like a ship at sea, slowly became visible. As it was so early, we had to wait for the church to be opened. An elderly caretaker arrived with a large key in a leather satchel. As he opened the enormous enameled door, fog poured into the interior of the church. It rolled up along the sloped concrete floor, blurring the boundaries between inside and outside, merging cloud and ground. The tiny space formed by the curved walls backed into one another. The three exterior elevations leaned in to push out the vast surrounding landscape, beginning the resonances with the distant horizons. Here we have a perfect combination of factors: a historic sacred site, people who chose Le Corbusier as the architect to best interpret this unique place, and Le Corbusier's own skill and imagination to make this tiny church a wonderfully atmospheric built hilltop. We love Utzon's sketches of the Mayan platforms in the Yucatan in Mexico. We see them as food to feed his subconscious, to reuse in his Sydney Opera House base. He keeps them in his mind, in storage, until it is triggered, until it seems useful and appropriate to unpack, to reconstruct the experience of a place, a memory, a thought, so that it can be translated, inhabited, and transformed, reimagined by this architect into a new meaning, put to a new use. Finding in each project the DNA, this is something that's important to us. Architecture is usually commissioned. It's born of need. It has other requirements too that are related to wishes, ambitions, and meaning. Like the double helix of the DNA, which is wonderfully clear model of the complexity of life, we work with the brief. Architects begin to understand each project's scale, its own unique set of relationships. We begin the process. We begin the struggle to find each project's DNA. With sketches, which are architects' hieroglyphics, we begin to test possibilities.
Entering the past. Reading Marguerite Yourcenar's imagined diary of Adrian made us feel that history could be an intimate presence. that we could enter into it and feel close to it. Hadrian's passion for astronomy, his sense of wonder at the world, like that of a child, led him to make the making of that timeless phenomenon, which is the Pantheon. Marguerite Yourcenar imagines him imagining, and I quote, "My intention had been that this sanctuary of all gods should reach the terrestrial globe and of the stellar sphere, that globe wherein are enclosed the seeds of eternal fire, and that hollow sphere containing all. The disk of daylight would rest suspended there like a shield of gold. Rain would form its clear pool on the pavement below. Prayers would rise like smoke toward that void where we place the gods." End of quote. Space and sound. In his essay, Hearing Architecture, Rasmussen describes the walls of old churches as powerful instruments which the ancients learned to play upon. Daniel Barenboim says that the nature of music is inexplicable except through sound, and we feel that the nature of architecture is inexplicable except through space. Auguste Perret told his client for Salle Cortot, "I will make you a room which will sing like a violin." He wanted to give the sound its liberty. He used a cushion of air between the inner and outer lining of the performance space. We love this combination of the poetic and the scientific instinct. Fragments. Memory is not linear or ordered. It is a cacophony of sensations. When we start to make new work, we realize that imagining the future is similar to remembering the past. We think in fragments of experience, mood, touch, and we try to find a construct which brings order and gives form to these fragments. It is a fluid process, like making a collage, which has to be distilled and edited until it settles into shape. Feeling the light. In Lima, the refraction of the strong light in the dense fog hurts the eyes. Light becomes liquid. In Milan, the fog is more gentle and cloaks the city in mystery. Gravity. These lines from the poem Birds by Saint-Jean-Pers, as translated by Irish poet Derek Mahan, remind us that as architects we deal with gravity, with time, with light. And I quote, "The kite string of gravity he stretches to breaking point by force of soul. Gravity's weight, a burden round our necks, birds wear with panache on their brows. The bird climbs invisible slopes from zone to zone of unfinished time." We are interested in that ancient sense of moving within the forces of gravity. Cross-fertilization. Herbert's words on the work of Piero della Francesca. He says, "Once more, geometry has absorbed passion." We are acutely aware of the need to see with innocence, as said by Louis Barragan. Calder's mobiles, Miro's paintings recognize space as a constellation of free forms. Chillida traps light within the form. Many hands. The practice of architecture is akin to being a member of an orchestra. A unified sound needs to be created by a complex mix of individuals, instruments, talents. A piece about Toscanini, written by a member of the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra, remembers the effect that Toscanini had on them as musicians. He said, and I quote, "Toscanini made the musicians superior to themselves. Pieces of music they knew in their sleep were newly created for them under Toscanini. Everybody was transported to some higher sphere and had an extraordinary ability in the parallel conducting of what was going on now and what was coming the next movement, so that the musicians felt guided through the complexity of the music. The musicians achieved beyond their usual capacity, not because they wanted to, but because they were elevated spiritually, always surpassing themselves. Thank you. Yvonne and I wanted to capture moments in our thinking in architecture. And I suppose it's our passion for architecture, which is such a wonderful profession, that keeps us going through thick and thin, through hard times and good times. And so from the distance of Dublin and California, we extend our best wishes to you all.
And just to follow on Shell, we're very aware that you are over across the Atlantic, across the United States, that you're in a state of nearly 40 million people, that you are parallel to the Pacific, that you have beautiful landscape, you have an amazing state, and we wish you all the best in these unusual times. And I suppose from our point of view, architecture is essentially an optimistic profession, because we imagine with people what might be in the future. So this is to wish you all really well to survive these times, and that architecture is such an important ingredient in humanity, in life, in imagination. Just to say that we're thinking of you, and we hope to see you in reality soon. So all the best from Dublin, from both Shelley and I. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you guys. I think that was a really thrilling talk from Grafton Architects, who, as I said before, they are the Pritzker Prize winners from this year. I thought that was a really inspiring talk of optimism and humanity of architecture, and I think they represent that with their work. I think we'll start the slideshow back up. Next, I wanted to give you an update on what we've been up to this year. It wasn't a normal year, as you all are well aware of, and not what I was expecting to oversee when I first came on as chair of the board. But as everyone, we adapted. We shifted online. In some ways, it made things better and easier. Of course, it was harder to actually make deeper connections, but I think that's coming. We amped up our digital communication and social media to try to stay connected, and the show went on. We had as many events as we normally do. Some things did not happen, like, for instance, home tours, for obvious reasons. But I do want to highlight a few things we were able to do this year. First, next slide, our annual AIA East Bay and College of Environmental Design with UC Berkeley's joint lecture, which we have every year. This year was with Mauricio Roca, and I believe this was the last in-person event we had before everything shut down. And we will do that again next year. It remains to be seen if that will be online or in person. As Deborah earlier mentioned, we did this very successful design data exchange hackathon, which helps architects track their 2030 commitments. And I hope more architects will sign on to that commitment. You can find more about it online and on our website. Next, we had a really interesting Black Lives Matter in Architecture panel with SF NOMA. I think this was really important to start a conversation about and not just sit on the sidelines of what's going on in this world. And hopefully this will lead to continued collaboration. And this had over 1,000 views on our website. So I hope it has made an impact and spurred some questions. Next slide. We did a panel with UC Berkeley students about COVID and thoughts for an uncertain future, which I hope was helpful to our future generation of architects. We might want to do another one of those to see where we are now. And next slide. We just recently, last month, had a conversation with Connor Doherty on his book, Fighting for Housing in America, Golden Gates, about why we have such a crisis in housing in the Bay Area in California, which was important and interesting. And of course, next, our kind of feature event of the year, the Design Awards, which honored incredible projects, which I think were notable not just for their form and their elegance and their beauty, but because sustainability was a key metric in deciding who won those awards. I think it was a really important and interesting event this year, which was all online. And we had tons of other events, boot camp relaunch, continuing events from all our committees. And so far we've managed and we thrived. And in the meantime, our newish executive director, Mike Wilson, has rebuilt old partnerships and created new ones with NOMA and Spur and colleges, students, and various cities, including the city of Oakland. And I would like to point out that these events are all possible because of our member committees. If you're interested in these topics and would like to steer the discussion and types of events we have, I'd suggest you join one. And actually, Mike, I had a slide about this. They're open to all, and it's actually easier than ever to join a committee because you can just click a button and be at a meeting instead of having to trek down to the downtown Oakland office. Is Libby here? Should I go ahead and introduce? Or are we going to do something? Okay.
I don't believe so. So we can jump to our first raffle if we want.
Okay. Well, let's show that committee slide. I'd like to make sure everybody knows. I added it. It's.
I can't see it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I did it on the Google, but you never know. Okay. Yeah, let's do a raffle.
Okay. So while we wait for Libby Schaff to arrive, we're going to do a raffle. And the way this raffle works, I've got a full explanation later in the show, but since it's happening now, it runs like this. If you registered for this event and you are a member in good standing, meaning you've got an AIA member number, then we put your name into the hat. And the way that we are going to be drawing this hat is by using a spinning wheel. So let's get that up here. So everybody that is at this event is on this spinning wheel. Let me move this away so we don't see that. And this first prize is for free admission to one of our ADA Day videos. This is a $110 value, and let's see who's going to win it. Rebecca, no. Mary, maybe? Mary Clutt. So congratulations to Mary. We can keep doing this until we have our guest speaker. Jane, let me know when she arrives. Otherwise, I'm going to congratulate Mary and move on to one more spin. Does that sound good? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to the spinning wheel. Again, this is for the $110 valued ADA spin, the ADA Day, and let's see who wins this one. Come on, spinning wheel, do your thing. But technical difficulty. We knew it would happen. Here, try this. Stand by. And the winner is Carlos. No. Jamie Matheron. Jamie, you're the winner of a free ADA Day pass. I believe you're with a Dahlin group, so congratulations on that. Let's do one more of these then. This is the last of 3 of our lowest tier prize. And John, Claudia Wagner, congratulations. I'm taking her name out of the box there. And later in the program, we will give away more prizes.
Could we go ahead and skip over Libby to our special recognitions and come back to Libby when she gets here? So Deborah, if you're still here, I think you were going to introduce our AIA.
Absolutely. All right, happy to do so. So it is my sincere pleasure to recognize Mark Steppen, AIA, for his dedication and commitment to maintaining the lifeblood of this chapter. And this is a presidential citation from me at AIA California. So for those of you who have not been aware, your chapter has gone through some tough times in recent years with the departure of your former executive director and the upheaval that brought with it. It took really strong leadership and dedication to keep things moving in a positive direction. And your immediate past president, Mr. Steppen, who was so committed that he agreed to extend his term from 1 year to 2 years to make sure that things were all in shape before he passed the baton to another president. And I happen to personally know how challenging this can be because I was the president of AIA LA when we also had an unexpected departure of our executive director. So, this is no small feat. And so on behalf of AIA California and all of the members of AIA East Bay, I want to express our sincere gratitude to Mark for holding things together when they easily could have splintered apart, and our appreciation for his devotion to this chapter. The results of Mark's efforts are evident by the number of new members on your board now, the successful hiring of an outstanding new executive director, and the fact that you are all back to focusing on how COVID will affect the future of the profession and how to save the planet through climate action rather than worrying about how to keep your chapter moving forward. So it is with great pleasure that I present this presidential citation to Mark Steppen, AIA, and it reads, "In grateful recognition of your volunteer leadership of the AIA East Bay chapter, coming forward during a time of transition to face significant challenges, your tenacity and willingness to ensure the future health and success of the organization is remarkable. Through consensus building with fellow board members, you tackled difficult issues while sparking visions of a preferred future. You provided a platform for the organization's success. You have been an instrument of change, orchestrating the search for a new executive while continuing to maintain programming and elevating the chapter's profile within the communities served. You reminded us all that one person can make a difference, and your personal, steadfast commitment has made a lasting impact with the architects and design professionals in your chapter. Your passion for leadership, your dedication to strengthening the chapter and unifying the membership is extraordinary and deserves recognition and respect. On behalf of AIA members in California, thank you."
Thank you, Deborah. It's very much appreciated. It's been a pleasure helping out.
Thank
So
you.
Debbie, we do have the mayor.
Oh, wonderful. So in the vein of partnerships and excellence in design that I was talking about earlier, we'd like to welcome Libby Schaaf, our mayor of Oakland, to our meeting. Libby has been a design proponent since she emerged from her fire-breathing snail car to lead the city in efforts to increase housing and support good design. So we're so pleased to have her join us here today. Thank you, Libby.
Thank you so much for having me, and Mike Wilson, it's wonderful to have you also in this leadership role. From the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful to this design community. I talk all the time about my fierce love for the secret sauce of Oakland. And that's the energy, the look, the feel. And you all are the ones that give our city that unique flavor. And you've been amazing partners, especially as we reimagine the commons, the public space, how we use design to actually elicit feelings and interactions and live up to the values that Oakland stands for of inclusion and diversity. It is, I am like literally, fun fact, my first like career ambition in my life was to be an architect. Instead of playing at recess, I literally would draw like fantasy floor plans. Isn't that sad? So that I have just spent a lifetime in admiration of what you do, your profession, the fact that you dream dreams and then you make them real. You manifest them in reality. This profession is one that I've always heard that it's the work that you do because you cannot do anything else, that it literally is a calling, not so much a job. And so please keep following that call. Keep putting beauty and functionality and a whole new way of imagining our physical space and environment. I think that there has never been a time when people have been more aware of physical environment than they have right now. As we have all been sheltering in place, as we have all been forced to seek our mental health by walking around our neighborhoods, it really has given us a moment to reflect on just how important, how vital, how much a piece of our health, our physical health and mental health, the physical environment around us, the design is. So know that right now, there has never been a time where your work has been more valued or more valuable. So with that, I just want to commend each and every one of you. Thank you for being part of this organization, because it is when we band together that we have voice. And Mike Wilson, who I've been honored to call a friend for a long time, 2 babies ago. I'm just so pleased to see you in this leadership role for this vital institution that has always played such an important role. And I know under your leadership is going to be more influential than ever. So thank you. Please, let's be in touch. Someone once told me that the mayor is the chief architect of the city. So please hold me to a high standard. I will need your talent and wisdom as we move forward to design and vision the Oakland that we all know our residents deserve. Thank you and congratulations. Have a great event.
Thank you so much, Libby.
Thank you so much, Libby. I do want to, with what Libby was saying, notable about this year, our events really had to respond to what was happening nationally and go globally, not just in our bubble of architecture. Social movements around racial justice, climate change, the pandemic, all informed our programming this year and what our priorities were for the AIA. So I just want to thank Libby for joining us and speaking about that. We do have a couple of other awards we'd like to present. Mike, you can pull those up.
I think it's my time. You forgot
No,
me.
nope, that's a surprise. No, there's one more thing.
Okay.
So.
Oh, go back a slide. Yeah.
Sorry,
it's all good.
We're playing it by ear here.
Totally
well, I can say it. If we don't have the slides, it's okay.
Oh, we do.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, so our next surprise awards are to Ashley for Barczyk and Lauren Jordan. This isn't the slide, but I think there we go. So both Ashley and Lauren are members, and they both stepped up to fill a need that the AIA had. Lauren, last year, because of all the transitions we were going through with the AIA East Bay, we weren't able to have a design awards, which is kind of a bedrock of our organization. And even this year, we didn't have anyone to run it. And Lauren stepped up as a volunteer and said, will do this. And she took it on. It's a lot of work to get the juries together, to put together the event itself, get the awards. It was a ton of work, and I just want to thank Lauren for stepping up and just getting it done and having a beautiful ceremony with beautiful projects. So thank you. And then the other one is for Ashley, who she is our incoming president as well, but she also stepped up. She raised her hand at a meeting 2 years ago saying, I will volunteer to be a part of this organization. And then she took on accreditation. As soon as we lost our last director, it was time to accredit the chapter. And it took a lot of work, a lot of figuring out what needed to get done with the records we had, and she did it. So I just want to acknowledge her for also stepping up and helping the chapter stay on course. So thank you to Ashley and Lauren.
Let me introduce this new award as well by pointing out that we've named 2 scholarships, one for Ashley and one for Lauren, to cover the full cost of sending one student to the architectural summer camp. So now your name is attached to those and should live into perpetuity. This is a program that we're quite proud of and we would like to grow. So that's why I'm mentioning it here. So not only have you guys done a great job, but we really wanted to honor you by naming these scholarships after you. So congratulations.
Thank you, Ashley and Lauren. And now it's Lauren's turn to give us her agenda for the future. Thank you.
Oh, Ashley's turn. Look at this, Debbie. Oh my gosh, I did not expect that. You all surprised me. Oh my God, I'm like almost crying over here.
That's the intention.
Oh, thanks. You guys are really good at keeping secrets.
Yeah, that's why we have multiple decks here. So
y'all threw me off. I had this whole speech prepared. Hi everyone. My name is Ashley Rybarczyk. I want to say first, thank you for the award and the scholarship. Yeah, I'm like a little teary over here. But I also want to thank Libby Schaff for joining us and taking time out of her busy schedule to talk with us tonight. It's a tough act to follow. You know, Libby is awesome. And I'm so grateful that she got to speak with us. And Libby, if you're still listening, we're hiring, just saying, to fill your dream of architecture. So I'm just gonna start with a little bit about me. I know a lot of you don't know me, so I'll start off with where I grew up. I grew up in central Wisconsin. I was born in Las Vegas, but we moved when I was young. I also attended UW Milwaukee, which is the same school John Muir went to and took his first botany lesson. I achieved my Bachelor's of Science in Architecture and also my master's degree. At the end of the recession is when I moved to the Bay Area. I had 2 suitcases and a backpack, and I actually ended up living in a tiny little 5x8 room under a staircase. No, I'm not Harry Potter. I know what you're thinking. But eventually I saved enough money and I moved to Alameda. Now, fast forward, I've been working with KTGY in Oakland, and it's been a great experience for the last 7.5 years. Been focusing on residential housing and urban infill and all over the Bay Area. Like Debbie mentioned, I volunteered to join the board a couple years ago, and now I am honored to serve as your president in the coming year, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. That's enough about me. So let's talk about what's coming up in 2021. One of our first programs we're launching in 2021 is the 5x5x5 mentorship program. It'll be for students at UC Berkeley and Diablo Valley College. So we want to thank those who have volunteered so far. It's been a huge response. So we're so grateful for that. For those of you who didn't make it into the 5x5x5 as volunteers, we actually are also doing a critics pool. So if you want to volunteer for that, it's where you can go to the schools and, well, virtually probably, but where you can be involved in student critiques at both DVC and UC Berkeley. So if you're interested, contact us about that. I want to talk a little bit about housing. It continues to be a crisis in California, and it's something that we continue to face head on. So one of the questions that is always on our minds is how can architects work with jurisdictions and developers to make it easier for homeowners to build ADUs and to encourage new projects to incorporate ADU options and increase density whenever possible. So with that in mind, I'd like to propose having at least 2 housing forums this year, and so we can talk as a community on how to move forward. Somewhat related too is the home tours. Of course, mentioned before, it was put on hold, but it'll be returning in 2021. This is a great opportunity to showcase design excellence from all of our local architects. So look for more information coming in the next year. Also, sustainable design. This is something, climate change and sustainable design are at the forefront of our political discussion, both locally and worldwide. We really need to get to a point where sustainable design is inherent in everything we do. So because technology is rapidly progressing, information sharing is key. And I want to give a shout out to the Committee on the Environment. They do a great job of keeping us all up to speed and providing events. And so thank you, keep that going. I also want to say that the 2030 challenge, that is very important for all of us to join. It's been around for a while, but we strongly urge East Bay firms to join the 2030 commitment and be a part of the future. This year, we also want to continue to promote community engagement and strengthen our alliances with other organizations, as well as create a couple new committees if we can, to further support our membership. In October, I had the pleasure of virtually attending the NOMA National Conference that was out of Oakland. I was deeply inspired by everything I've seen. It covered topics from equitable design to climate justice to community engagement and youth mentorship. And 2 of the biggest takeaways I had were from Prescott Rivas, to cultivate our youth to be our future leaders. And another quote from June Grant, just do what is right. So with that, I want to continue build our alliance with SF NOMA in 2021 and look forward to more programs together. Also associated with that, we started a committee of sorts. I guess it's like it was a task force that was started by Lauren, Debbie, and Leo, who are on the board. It was in direct response to the social unrest that has been happening in our country for far too long. But they were the ones who were responsible for putting together the Black Lives Matter in architecture with SF NOMA. And then from that, it grew organically into a committee. So now we have a JEDI committee, and I really urge all of you who are passionate about that to join. So let's see. Another forum that I'd like to bring up is the Professional Practice Forum. This is something that we've had in the past, but it had died out. But we really need people to form this again. This is what we believe. And if you guys want it, then please raise your hand and join. But the Professional Practice Forum is a community that talks about like professional contracts, best practices, but it also provides a place to address the ever-changing work environment that we are currently in. But we really need members like you to help form it and run it. We'd also like to strengthen our connection with SPUR. We've had a few events with them and they're successful. And so hopefully we can co-host more events together. So with all of that in mind, I know I put a lot out there. I just like to announce that we're having a committee forum on January 20th, and you can join virtually and see what all of our committees are about. And hopefully you can join some. So last but not least, we're also in search of a new office. We put out a newsletter in November. Just to recap, we thought that it was appropriate to let our lease go in November. Our lease was up, and to better serve our members, we felt it responsible of us to take that money instead of putting it into a space we're not occupying for the foreseeable future and allocate it to a new space. And so stay tuned for updates on that progress. It's going to be a huge endeavor, and we're aiming for like a spring, late spring, pending the healthcare climate, to have a new office together. So lastly, for this part, I would like to thank the new members. We had 77 join the AIA this year, which is great. So that means we're growing and we continue to grow. We want to double that in 2021. So if you don't, or if you know somebody who wants to be a member, ask them to join. I also want to encourage everybody to renew your membership if you haven't already. If you're having financial difficulties, this has been a really crazy year, just reach out to us. We can explore different options available to keep you members. So with that, we look forward to continued growth in 2021, and I'll leave you to, I believe, Mark and Mike for finishing off the special recognition segment. So thank you, everyone. I look forward to being your president.
Thank you, Ashley.
Okay. Mike, can you put up that slide, please, when you get a chance? Thanks, Ashley, very much. I think it's going to be a much improved 2021, and looking forward to your leadership at the helm. Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us tonight. I just wanted to discuss really briefly fellowship. Elevation to fellowship in the AIA is a great honor to have achieved. I would like to take a quick moment here to celebrate our chapter fellows, whose names you can see on the screen. Thank you all for what you do for our profession and everyone that's a member here. As I have myself recently submitted for fellowship, I can attest to the difficulties and complexity of the ever-changing submission process and requirements. Having a great sponsor is imperative, but additionally, I want to make sure you all know that the chapter has its own fellows committee. The committee is here to assist you with this process and help you navigate the requirements and settle on your theme for your submission. They are helpful and a true asset to our chapter, and many of you may not know that they are even here for you. The committee includes Rosemary Muller, Stephen Winkle, William Glass, and Ben Fisher. Again, we're here to help you grow as architects and people. That's we're here for the membership. So growing this list, I think, would be a great thing to also attempt to achieve in the next year or two. And so let's see how many of you can start submitting for fellowship. So again, thank you, committee and fellows. It's terrific to have you here and participate and help us elevate ourselves in the profession and provide knowledge to the rest of everybody else. Let's add this to the list. We're here to help, and thank you.
Okay, so I think now we are breaking out into, no?
Next up, we have an election. The polls just closed. And for those of you that didn't know it, we have one board seat open. So we've been, we ran a nomination. We got 4 folks to put their name on the slate. So that was Jamie Mathern from Dolan Group, Kenneth Lynn with Dreyfus Buckford, Rod Zerke with Brick, and Ali Rafatieri from Oakland's Housing Department. Since we closed the polls, I can now share with you who the winner was. We had 25% of members, actually at this point is a little over 25% of membership voted, and your new board director is, oh, there you go, Ali. Congratulations to Ali Refatiri, returning to the board. I have to say it was a close election, and it's great. It shows a lot of interest in what the board is doing, and I would encourage all of you to continue to participate on boards, participate in the community, and on all the committees as well. And now it's time for some fun and games. I'm gonna, oopsie, I went too far. I don't know how that happened, but let me get back to this. We're gonna, there it is. I'm gonna bring Tim and Adeline to describe to you what is happening next with our Time for Fun bit.
All right, thanks, Mike, and congratulations, Ollie, on your election. Now I think we want to embrace the party aspect of our membership appreciation party. And in previous years, I think we would all fill up our drinks or grab a stiff drink and head out to maybe a fire pit or gather around a high top table and tell tales of how our years went and speak about the headlines that we all embraced. But unfortunately, this year's a little different. So we also are going to do something different. We're going to break out into smaller breakout rooms for everybody to kind of switch gears and meet some of the new members as well as old members. And we're going to have a little icebreaker game for you. So I hope everyone will stick around. And Adeline, tell us a little bit about the game.
Yeah, I mean, you basically said it. We're just going to be sent into breakout rooms pretty soon, and we're going to play basically bingo. There's going to be a board member in each room facilitating discussion, and there's going to be prompts from a bingo card. And it's just basically a chance to get to know people. It'll be a casual 10 minutes, so hopefully people are going to have fun. And as Tim mentioned, just stick around because there's going to be even bigger prizes from the raffle. And now I think we're just going to zoom over to breakout rooms. So.
Five needs somebody.
Great.
That was
You're muted, Lauren.
oh, sorry. I said that was a blast. I feel bad for everyone who's on YouTube who couldn't join us.
Yeah, that was fun.
Really good. Thank
Time
you.
just flew by.
We did actually send them a link, and one or two did squeak through. So good. I'm glad that worked out.
That was fun.
So shall we give away more prizes?
Yay!
All right, let's go. Wheel of Fortune. And wait, I want to try this different. Well, this works. So this prize is now, your AIA membership is divided into 3 parts. You pay a national fee, a state fee, and the AIA East Bay fee, which is worth $271 a year. We're going to give 2 of those away to a lucky person. And that person is, let's see, Anthony, no Mark, no Winston. Winston Wynn, congratulations. I like how your last name also matches what just happened.
I say I'm totally willing to forgo my gift. Let's give this gift to someone else.
You could have us spin again. You could make sure that those funds go to our summer camp program for scholarships. It's entirely up to you.
I think it's been a tough year for some of our members. Let's see if we can give this to another member.
Okay.
Always a gentleman.
Generosity
Oh,
of Winston.
It's going to make the rest of us look bad.
Vivian. Nope, it's Shweta Joshi.
Yay.
Okay, so I'm taking that name out of here, and congratulations. And now it's time for the grand prize. This is 100% membership coverage for the 2021 year. So that's almost $1,000. Here we go. And Chris Alexander. It's Alexander Siegel. Congratulations. And that concludes our super exciting giveaway of AIA cash and prizes. And now I'm going to hand it off to Ashley to sing us a song and wish us good night.
I don't have enough drinks in me to sing a song, but I'm sure if this was live, it'd be a different story. So
We'd be playing pool.
we would, well, you'd be whipping me at pool like last year. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening. This was a blast. Just the last 10 minutes of getting to know, a handful. I hope that I get to know more of you that way. I would like to give a huge thank you to Mike and Jane. They do so much behind the scenes to keep this chapter running. They're a huge asset to this chapter. So just thank you so much. I'd also like to thank our members for the continuous support of our chapter. Without you, we can't be a chapter. I also want to thank the board of directors. You guys are a great team. We're super ambitious. We have a lot going on, but we're supportive of each other, and I want to thank you all for that. So now I leave the membership with this. What is your passion? What are you most inspired by? We have a very dedicated board with great aspirations for what this chapter can be, but we really need you, the members, to be involved in our committees and forums and help shape this organization that you're a part of. So here's to a great 2021 and cheers.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Hope you enjoyed our first ever virtual member appreciation party.
That's a blast.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be back in person next year.
I hope so.
And I look forward to hearing from anybody who cares to send me an email with ways that we could have done this better, things you liked, and just any questions in general. We really want to listen, see if we can serve you guys better. Thanks a lot, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Cheers. Thank
Happy
you so
holidays,
much.
everyone.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.